Sandamtod here, up for a Star Wars tag. This is right up my alley. I used to be more of a Star Wars fan. I don't think you become less of a Star Wars fan, but sometimes, other things come around and you start putting up different things. But I used to have nothing but Star Wars up all the time, Star Wars posters. I still have a few here and there scattered about. But my action figure collection slowly got put up, and my other stuff slowly got put up. But I do love Star Wars, so we're going to get started. Got tagged by Vidium, great friend, great buddy. First off, Vidium, I want to say thank you. I got your package in the mail today, and I couldn't be happier. This is awesome. He had this, he picked this up. It's a one-of-a-kind. It's got a Samus on it, and I am probably going to hang this up back here somewhere. I do not want to risk taking it out and about because I don't want to lose it anywhere, and I definitely don't want to have it at work. I want to make sure I have it at home. So, awesome, brother. I can't thank you enough once again, and thanks for the birthday wish. And let's get to this Star Wars tag. First question, folks. What is your favorite Star Wars game ever? It doesn't matter if it's an arcade game, a console game, a handheld, electronic handheld. Doesn't matter. Whatever floats your boat, whatever your favorite one is. This one was a little rough, and I'll show you why. We got started over here. These are the Star Wars games that I pulled out of my collection that I have right now. I've got Star Wars Episode 1 Pod Racer, Shadows of the Empire, Rogue Squadron, Super Star Wars, Super Empire Strikes Back, and Super Return of the Jedi. I've got Star Wars Rebel Assault on the Sega CD. I've got Star Wars Phantom Menace on the PlayStation 1. I've got Empire Strikes Back for the Atari 2600. I've got Return of the Jedi Death Star Battle for the 2600. And I have Jedi Arena for Star Wars. And to tell you the truth, I'm not sure even what this is for sure. I don't recall offhand. And then these are the ones I have for my later systems. I've got Episode 3 for the Xbox. I got KOTOR and KOTOR 2 for the Xbox. Also, I have Lego Star Wars 1 and 2 for the Xbox. PlayStation 2 Bounty Hunter. And Force Unleashed for the PlayStation 2 and the 360. And out of all those games, you might be able to tell the one that I'm going to pick is my favorite. And this counts even the arcades and stuff. Because what Vidium was talking about, the arcade, the MAME, or the arcade ROM, the MAME ROM is right here. The Star Wars... the Star Wars arcade game, and I love this game, especially the sit-down one that you could get inside. I thought it was so sweet back in the day, and it still is. It still has a lot of nostalgia for me, but if I have to pick a straight-up Star Wars game that I really love, it's got to be Force Unleashed. Especially the 360 version. I blazed through the PS2 version and didn't and finished it, and then when I was talking with Ben at work, he was playing it on the 360, and he was telling me about all the variances between the two versions. So when I bought my 360, I of course had to pick up Force Unleashed on the 360 to play through it. Now I haven't beaten the 360 version, but it seems like that was when my video game collecting started kind of picking back up again, and I just haven't spent as much time actually playing games. But KOTOR for me was one of the, if not the best Star Wars game there could possibly be. I know they're getting ready to have an MMO, the Old Republic, and also there's Force Unleashed 2 later this year toward Christmas. I can't wait for that. But anyway, that's the first question. I better get rolling or I'm never going to finish this tag. So let's get on to the next questions. Okay, folks, the second question is going to be, which is your first Star Wars game? Doesn't matter if it's a handheld or a console game. Tell you the truth, my first Star Wars game was probably this one. This is the first one I remember buying, and that is Rebel Assault on the Sega CD. This was one of my first Star Wars games. I had played the NES ones. Ariel talked about them, and they're not that great. So I never bought them. I never wanted them. This was the first one that I saw that I really thought looked cool and that I really wanted. So this was probably the first Star Wars game that I actually bought. Would be Rebel Assault for the Sega CD. Question number 3. For you, which is the worst Star Wars game you have ever played? I'd have to agree with Vidium. The Empire Strikes Back for the NES is pretty long and pretty boring, and it just doesn't do it for me. Same thing with the Star Wars for the NES. I'm not a big fan of it. You know, I might pick them up for the collection one day, maybe in box or something. By the way, Vidium, that in box Empire was sweet. But some of these other ones, like by today's standards, they don't really hold up. I know Vidium said this was one of the first ones that he had, Super Empire, or not Super, I keep saying it's Super, Star Wars Empire Strikes Back for the 2600, and all you do is fly and kill AT-ATs. In my opinion, this isn't that great. I mean, back then it was great. Now it ain't great. But, you know, it's nostalgia, so you hang on to it. But as far as, like, you know, those Atari games, I'd have to... sorry, folks, I have to put them at the bottom along with the NES games. All the games I have over here, with the exception of maybe the Atari games, I think are really good games. The Phantom Menace is a little hard to play for the PlayStation 1, and I'm not a big fan of the, like, Battlefront or those where you're controlling squads of people, so you don't really see any of the Battlefronts or any of that in my collection. Or any real... I do have Rogue Squadron, but I'm not big on shooters either, so I don't have a lot of those.